Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to XDefiant. Let's address the elephant in the room. The video today looks pretty freaking terrible, but mistakes were made. Unfortunately, I was not recording. I was live streaming the other day and I forgot to hit the record button along with the stream button, and lo and behold, I had my best ever game of Team Deathmatch while it wasn't being recorded. Well, what I had to go ahead and do was go back to my stream and record the stream, so I wanted to use that footage for a video, though unfortunately stream quality is not nearly as good as video quality, so apologies on that. But that kind of ties into the video here today. Apologies, right? Kind of talking about mistakes that were made and trying to fix them and trying to address them in some capacity. And that's exactly what the XDefiant team have been doing since the launch of Season 1. I've been a COD content creator for over 13 years now. My 13th anniversary was actually 4 days ago. Did I do anything special for it here in the channel? No, because I had to work that day plus get videos out. Didn't really have time to do anything fancy or special or anything like that. But over 13 years making COD videos, and of course during that time, we've seen a lot of updates coming from COD that basically break the game, right? And it's always frustrating because it's a multi-billion-dollar company. They've been making the games for 20 years, yet somehow those bugs and those issues end up going through the cracks and end up happening in every single COD update. Well, XDefiant had pretty much the same issue happen with Season 1. They're not nearly as big of a company, not nearly as big of a studio, and of course they're a brand new game on a brand new engine, and they're just trying to make everything work, and that's annoying some fans because a lot of problems have arose since the launch of Season 1. Everything from audio queue issues with the GSK trophy system to the PlayStation 5 players having frame drops and frame dips and kind of being unplayable on their end, to a number of other issues. Ranked play sometimes being buggy. If you're dead at the very end of the game, you don't get any score towards your rank, which is very unfortunate. You have things like the Echelon Intel suit not working if you try to activate it too closely towards the wall. The list goes on, and the devs are talking about it. The devs are addressing it. They're apologizing for it, and they're doing their best to get these updates out as fast as humanly possible. So much so that they're working on the 4th of July, which of course is a giant holiday here in the United States, and they're still at the studio working on the game, posting about the game on a holiday, even though I'm sure they had scheduled time off to be with their families. That's how dedicated they are in this free-to-play game. The thing about COD, right, that's a multi-billion-dollar company that makes millions and millions every single year, billions every single year, yet they still have these issues, and you're paying $70 to deal with those issues as the player. But XDefiant being free-to-play with a smaller studio and a different dev team and a different engine, you know, things are definitely going to be difficult, and Mark Rubin basically just said, you know what, we're doing our best here. If the game's not for you, just move on. And I never thought I would see a dev say that, but I respect the hell out of him for saying this. So over on social media, over on Twitter, I'm never going to call it X, by the way. I don't think anybody calls it X. It's going to be Twitter forever. Somebody was talking to Mark Rubin saying, was the game just rushed out to, you know, beat Black Ops 6 and beat GTA 6? And Mark Rubin responds, rushed out? No. What we have is an engine that has only ever been an MMO. And so all the infrastructure for an FPS has to be built up from the ground floor. Even COD started on ID Tech, which was a shooter engine. Apex started on a shooter engine. But for us, we're working on developing all new tech in an engine that was designed for something else. That being said, the engine is really good, but it does require a lot of work, and with that work comes a lot of bugs that other engines have already worked out. We're not a shooter that's been out for 20 years. If you like what we're trying to do, stick around and you'll see things improve and new features get added. But if the game isn't for you, that's okay. You can move on. I really appreciate the honesty coming here. You know, a lot of the time, like I've been dealing with video games my entire life, right? And of course, I've been covering them here on YouTube for over 13 years now. I'm used to the Hollywood shuffle. You guys know what I mean? Like, you know, the PR moves, the PR talk that all these different companies and studios have. It's very rare that you ever get to see a developer or anybody in a high authority position actually speak candidly about some of the issues with their games. What we have from Mark Rubin right there is complete honesty. Like, the engine is going to be buggy. They're trying their best to make it work. It was not designed for an FPS. They're building it from the ground up to work with FPS, and with that's going to come a number of bugs. Of course, it has gotten better over time, but they are still working on it. It's going to be a continuous work in progress. And hey, if you like what they're doing so far with XDefiant, a free-to-play game, no skill-based matchmaking, fun, fast-paced arcade gameplay, then stick around. It's only going to get better. It's going to keep getting new features. It's going to get better and better and better. But if the game's not for you, that's okay. You can move on. This is a guy who is trying to make a game that is going to be his livelihood for the foreseeable future, and he is being so honest. He's like, you know what? If it's not for you, move on. Whereas any other studio, any other like company, any other PR person will be like, no, please play our game. We're begging you. We'll put skill-based matchmaking in to protect you so you're more happy with the game, and then you can buy stuff from the shop. And, he's not doing that. He's like, look, if you don't like what we're doing, you don't have to play. And I respect the hell out of that honesty. Here we have another tweet coming from this guy named Oliver saying, did you guys even play test the patch on PS5? To which Mark Rubin said, on the 4th of July, mind you, which that's 4 p.m. my time, which should be 1 p.m. their time over in San Francisco. So this is like the middle of the day on July 4th. He's at the office working, tweeting, doing all this stuff, He says, there was nothing to respond to. Guy said, test your game with no clue how game development works. If you think we don't test the game with hundreds of people, then you don't know what you're talking about. If you don't understand that we have to test on dev kits in dev environments, then you don't know what you're talking about. If you don't know that no matter how much testing you do, there will always be bugs that sneak through, then you don't know what you're talking about. If you think that we are not working on a fix for PS5 as fast as we can, even though it's a holiday, then you don't know what you're talking about. So you see, I'm starting to see a pattern in what you know and what you don't know. If you don't like the game, that's fine, move on, but don't disparage my team. They work their asses off just to entertain you, so show some respect. I love that. Absolutely, 100%. Like, Mark Rubin's not holding any punches here, man. This is a guy that used to work on COD in the COD heyday, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty Ghosts. Like, back when Infinity Ward was good, Mark Rubin was one of the guys up there calling the shots. He was the executive producer. He's been working on this stuff for a very long time. Not to compare us, but, me being a YouTuber and him being in the public space when it comes to a shooter game like COD or XDefiant, we have to read a lot of comments. Like, that's like a big part of the job is reading all these comments, reading all the feedback, and I'm sure he has seen so much stuff over the years that just makes him want to lose his mind, and he's held back on it over those years while he's working at COD. But here on XDefiant, when people are bad-mouthing his team, when people are saying that they're not actually working, when people are saying that they just rushed the game out to beat GTA 6 and Black Ops 6, he's like, absolutely not. He's just coming out and speaking candidly, which is something I really appreciate coming from the face and the head of XDefiant. Like, that's freaking incredible if you ask me. Now, that all being said, does Season 1 still have a number of issues that need to be addressed? Absolutely. I will be doing another video talking about ranked play, but a part of that is the fact that we're not going to be playing ranked play for the foreseeable future until a new update comes out. We're going to be covering that in the video, but long story short, again, that bug I talked about earlier where you're playing ranked, right? We had a game the other day where we barely won the game of Dom. It was so ridiculously close. Like, it was a very fun competitive match. We barely won, but because my buddy Nate was dead at the end of the game, like when the final score popped up, he got no rank at all. Like, there's a bug where you get no rank points at all if you're dead at the very end. Of course, they're working on that, but that was very frustrating. Then the very next match, we ended up winning again, but my buddy Jet was dead at the very end, and he got no points for it. And so, like, we had 2 straight games where my buddies did not get any rank points for winning in ranked, and like, it's frustrating, right? So we're waiting for that update, and we do know a number of really important and really interesting updates are going to be coming to ranked mode, but it just goes to show, like, there's a lot that needs to be done with XDefiant. Of course, they are working on it. It's becoming kind of a meme over on my Twitch channel. Like, we're getting like the hashtags like they're working on it, trademark, because there are a lot of things they need to work on, but it's a free-to-play game. If this was a $70 title, if this was a full-priced like AAA title, I think people would be just absolutely outraged. I know I would be, and I'm definitely upset with a lot of the problems that we've had in the game so far. Of course, I wish things were better than they currently are, but it's still a free-to-play game. The updates are coming. They're talking very candidly on social media about the updates and their plans for the game and what they're going to be doing. The updates have been relatively consistent in terms of adding new features to the game, as well as adding new updates to the game that fix a number of these issues. And it's just like Mark Rubin said, obviously the game has problems right now, but if you like what they're doing, stick around. It's going to get better. Or if you want to take a break from the game and then come back after the updates, feel free to do that as well. The XDefiant team are basically making it very clear, look, if the game is for you, if you like what they're doing, stick around or even take a break and come back, because it's only going to continuously get better. They're always working on it. It's a free-to-play game. They're going to get it out there. It's going to be good and people are going to enjoy it. But if you don't like the game or if you want to wait for those updates, feel free. It's crazy. I've never seen a studio basically be like, if you guys don't want to play right now, that's fine. If you guys want to quit the game forever, that's fine. We have a loyal fan base. We have a very clear vision for the future. We know this game is going to be great. We know a number of people are enjoying the game for what it is so far, and it's only going to get better from there. So if you're one of those people that just doesn't like the game, move on, I suppose, is what they're saying. And that's pretty freaking incredible if you ask me. But ladies and gentlemen, there you guys have it. I just want to do a little news update video here today, kind of going over the very different approach that they're having towards community management and social media and just how they're handling these updates in general over on the XDefiant team. I think it's really interesting, and I thought you guys would think it's pretty interesting as well. I would like to wrap up the video here today by asking, are you guys still playing XDefiant? What do you think of the game after the Season 1 update so far? Let me know about that down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.